Welcome to the Bivouac. This is your play-along tutorial on how to play the game of SCUM. To play this game, we're going to need one standard deck of 52 cards. That's 4 suits, 13 cards to a suit, and no jokers. In this game, one deck will satisfy about 4 to 5, maybe 6 players, depending on how many cards you really want to like to play with. So if you have more than 5 or 6, you're going to want to add an additional deck. But this game can be played with any number between 3 and really any number you want up until practical limits of not being fun, but whatever. And number 1. All right, pick one player now to be the dealer. If you can't decide, it's going to be the player who's currently holding this video or closest to it. The dealer will take all the cards and shuffle them. Then they're going to deal out all the cards to all the players evenly as they can. Some players will have more cards than others. And that is fine in this game. Having more cards or less cards is generally not necessarily a big deal. It's both an advantage and a disadvantage to have additional cards, so don't worry about it. Once all players have all these cards dealt to them, they're going to take a look at their hand, and they're going to want to organize them from lowest to highest. And that'll just help you keep yourself organized. Keep in mind, aces are high in this game, so you're going to want to put them at the top. Once every player has organized their hand, you can continue this video. Until then, give it a pause. All right, welcome back. Once all players have all of their cards sorted, the game is ready to go. The player to the left of the dealer will be the first player. Now, normally in this game, it is the president, which I'll explain that later, who starts each round. But since we don't have a president yet, because it's the first game, it's just going to be the player to the left of the dealer. All right, player to the left of the dealer, player 1, welcome to the game. You're going to take a look at your cards, and you're going to decide which ones you want to play. You get to start the round because there's no cards currently in the pile. So you can lay whatever you want. You can lay whatever card or cards that you so please. Okay? You can lay one card at a time and start a singles run. So for instance, if I laid a single 2, I would start a singles run. Or I could lay more than one card. So I've got 2 6s here, so I could lay them both down and start a doubles. If you want to lay more than one card at a time, they must be 2 cards of the same rank. So 2 6s, 2 8s, 2 jacks, whatever it happens to be, they have to be the same rank. Okay? For this example, let's make it easy, and let's just say, take the lowest card that you have that is still a single card. So for instance, I got a 2 that's a single, but maybe you have double 2s and something else. I'm going to take this 2 and lay that down in the center of the board. That's going to start the first pile, and since you laid down a card, your turn's over. And this is going to be starting a singles run. And let's keep going. Next, player 2. Of course, you want to keep your hands face down. You have one of 2 options. You can either lay a card or pass. If you elect to pass because you have to or you want to, whichever one, you're going to fold your hand down like this in front of you, and you will be out until somebody tosses out the pot. And I'll explain how that works in a minute. Okay. So what you can do is you have to lay, if you do want to lay a card, which you probably do because the player before you probably played a pretty low card, you're going to lay a card that is either equal to or higher than the card currently showing. You can lay a card that's part of a doubles if you so please, and kind of break it up, although strategically it's probably not a good idea. So lay the lowest card that you have that is still a single. In my case, it's a 6. I'm going to lay that now. Since you laid a card, it's the next player's turn. Player number 3. Here we go. Once again, take a look at your cards, and you're going to want to see what your lowest single is for this example little turn here. In my case, it looks like I have a single 6, so I'm going to lay it because it's equal to a 6, so I can do it. It's got to be equal to or higher. Once you've done that, let's continue to player number 4. Player number 4, welcome to the game. Okay, it looks like whatever cards face up currently in the middle of the board, you're going to lay something that's equal to or higher than that, but still a single. Since the first player laid a single card, remember you always have to lay what the same kind of number of cards as the first player. So since I laid a 2 at the beginning and it's only a single 2, everyone else is going to have to lay singles. My lowest single is a 7, so I'll lay that 7 down now. And now we've returned to the first player. If you have more players than this, then you can continue until all players have laid a card. All right, but now we've returned back to the first player. The way this is going to work is the game's going to continue around and around like this until all players have passed except the person who laid the top card. So let's just quickly force that to happen real quick. So I'm going to lay an ace just real quick on top of the board. You can watch this go. That's going to lay an ace on top of it. This person will lay an ace on top of that. And this person will lay an ace on top of that. I can't lay any more cards because I'm out of aces. There's nothing higher than an ace, so I will pass and lay my cards down like that. This person also doesn't have any aces, so they will pass. Player number 3 does not have any aces either, so they will pass. And now we've gone back to the first, this player who laid the top card. If the board comes back around to you and the same card that you just laid is on top, you take the top cards, all the cards in the pile, and toss them out. Which means every other player is going to take their cards back up. They're not passed anymore because the cards have been tossed out. And the player who tossed out those cards will then start the next pile. Whenever you're starting a pile, you can start it with whatever number of cards you want. So in my case, I might want to start it with these double 5s that I have, or the single 2 that I have. You are not bound to previous rounds and having to match what that was. So if the first round was singles, the second round can be doubles or triples or quads if you have them. Okay? So in my case, I'll lay down double 5s and we'll continue from there. Since the first player laid double 5s in my example, the second player will also have to lay doubles. If they cannot lay doubles, they have to pass. Okay? The game continues around and around like this, taking out piles, tossing them out, passing, and laying down cards until one player runs out of cards. And that's your goal in this game. Your goal is to run out of cards as fast as you can. Pause the video and continue until when one player has no cards in their hand. All right, welcome back. At this point, somebody should have 0 cards left in their hand. Congratulations, you've won this round. You're going to be the president for the next round. Here's how the order works. You're going to continue playing, and you're going to want to remember what order you went out in. The first player is going to always be the president, and the last player goes out is going to always be the scum. The middle players kind of depend on how many people you have. If you have a number that is more than 4, you're going to have middling villagers in the middle, or citizens are a better word to say. So let's go number by number, okay? So if you have 3 players, the first player is the president, the last player is going to be the scum, that's easy. And the middle is going to be a citizen. Citizens, we'll explain later what they do. If you have 4 players, you'll have president on top, scum on the bottom, and since you have enough players for this, you're going to have vices. So vice president is going to be right after the president, and vice scum will be right before the scum. So president, vice scum, scum. That's how it's going to work. If you have 5, the top 2 are the president and the vice president, and then the bottom 2 are the vice scum and the scum, and the middle is the villagers. And then the more players you add, just add more villagers in the middle there, okay? So you always have the top 2 being the vice president and the bottom 2 being the vice scum and the scum, unless you don't have enough players to satisfy that kind of pattern. And then you just skip the vices. Okay? So continue playing until you have an order of everybody, and then we'll continue. Okay, welcome back. At this point, everybody should be out of cards, or maybe one person has cards left. Whichever player went out last, you're going to be scum. I'm sorry. All right. The player who was out first, the president, congratulations, you are in the president chair, and that can be the president chair for the entire game. Vice president, you're going to need to get up and move until you are right to the left of the president. And then you'll continue around the circle until everyone's in the turn order that they went out in. So president, vice president, then third person out, fourth person out, fifth person out, sixth person out, seventh person out, so on and so forth around the circle. So the president will have then the vice president to their left and the SCUM to their right. It goes around in a circle. All right, move around and continue the video once you're settled. Okay, welcome back. Now you are in the formation to start the next game. So what you're going to do is the dealer, who is now going to always be whoever's sitting in the SCUM seat, will take all of the cards that are in the pile, shuffle them up, and deal them out just like the first game. Go ahead and do that and return to the video when you've done it. Okay, welcome back to the video. The game's going to continue on and on like this with its different rounds like this until you decide to stop playing. There really is no end to the game of SCUM, but you have this kind of fun back and forth now you have with the presidents and the SCUM. So to start every round, keep in mind the president will lay the first cards. Before you start laying cards, you're going to trade some. So what's going to happen? Let's start with the SCUM. SCUM goes first. The SCUM is going to take their top 2 cards, in my case 2 aces, and give them face down to the president. The president, before looking at those 2 cards, you're going to look at your cards and give whatever 2 cards you want back. Okay? So at this point, the SCUM should have given their top 2 cards to the president, and then the president is now looking at their cards and figuring out what they want to get rid of. You probably want to get rid of your lowest cards that are still singles. So in my case, I got a 2 and a 3 that are still singles. I'm going to throw them back to the SCUM. And then I'm going to take the 2 cards that he gave me and add them to my hand. Okay, Vice SCUM, you're up next. Vice SCUM, you're going to take a look at your cards and give the single highest card that you have to the vice president. The vice president. The vice president, now it's your turn. Before you look at that card, you're going to take a look at your cards and think about the single lowest card you want to get rid of. You probably want to get rid of the lowest card that you have that's still a single. So in my case, I have a single 2, and I'm going to throw that back to the vice SCUM, and I'm going to take whatever card he gave me back. Okay, that's the trades that are done. If you're a citizen, you don't do any trading, you just get whatever cards you have. Now, you're ready to start the game. The president will start the new round by laying whatever card they so see fit. In my case, whatever double 7s. You can go round and round and round like that until you're tossing out tiles and adding and going out in whatever order. And again, whoever goes out first will become the new president for the next round. And it goes around and around like this until you decide to stop playing and then whatever. I guess whoever is president at the end wins. And there you go. That's the game of SCUM. Good luck.